As we age, our bones tend to become thinner and lose density, and this can mean we're at greater risk of developing osteoporosis and suffering from bone fractures. Over 3 million people in the UK are living with osteoporosis, but because it develops slowly, many people have no idea they have it until they get a fracture. Now, our friends over at restless.co.uk are working with the Royal Osteoporosis Society, the ROS, to help raise awareness of osteoporosis and bone health. And we're pleased here at Grey Matters to help by sharing with you some of the valuable information that they want to disseminate. And it doesn't matter how old you are, this is important. Welcome to Grey Matters. Welcome to Grey Matters, the channel that promotes the fact that the older generation still matters and looks at issues that matter to the older generation. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing and hit that like button and of course the notification bell. Now, as I said in the introduction, we're looking at osteoporosis and in particular sharing with you information from restless.co.uk's partnership with the ROS. Osteoporosis is a condition where bones become porous or spongy and they lose strength and density, and this causes them to break more easily, even after a minor bump or fall. The name osteoporosis comes from the Latin for porous bones. See, education wasn't entirely wasted on me. Now, bones are living tissue and they're joined together by collagen fibres, and each bone is encased by a hard shell. But on the inside, our bones look like honeycomb. Now, this honeycomb appearance is perfectly healthy, but when you have osteoporosis, the holes become bigger, bone density reduces, and that causes the outside of our bones to become thinner and more fragile. Now, anybody can get osteoporosis, and the problem is that with the early stages of bone loss, there are typically no symptoms. So people will have no idea they have osteoporosis until they experience a fracture. So if there are no early warning signs, is there actually anything you can do to protect your bones? Well, the short answer is yes. And one way is to identify the risk factors that apply to you. Some of those risk factors are out of your control. For example, gender. Now, women are more likely than men to develop osteoporosis because the process of bone loss is accelerated after the menopause. And also, men generally have bigger and stronger bones, which helps to reduce the threat of breaks. Then there's age. From our late 30s, our bone tissue naturally starts to decrease. It also loses strength, and so regardless of how dense they are, our bones can still become more prone to breaks. And then there's family history. Now, having a family with osteoporosis means you're more likely to develop it yourself. So it will be helpful for you to speak to your family and find out more. And I'm including your wider family circle in this, aunts and uncles and so on. Another factor is your history of broken bones. Now, according to research, you're 3 times more likely to break a bone if you've broken one before. Next, we have gastrointestinal surgery. Now, this type of surgery can make it more difficult for your body to absorb essential nutrients like calcium. And then we have steroids and other medications. Long-term use of steroid medications and those medications that are used to treat seizures, gastric reflux and cancer can affect the bone building or rebuilding process. And then there are some other medical conditions that pose a risk factor. People who suffer from conditions such as celiac disease, kidney or liver disease, inflammatory bowel syndrome, cancer or rheumatoid arthritis, you might be more at risk. All right, so identifying those risks over which you have no control is just part of it, because you then need to identify those risks that apply to you that you can do something about. These might sound like nags, but they're not really. So what are these risks? Low vitamin D and calcium levels. Now, vitamin D helps your body absorb and store calcium. And you probably know that your body needs calcium to build and maintain strong bones. Vitamin D plays a key role in preventing osteoporosis as well, and I didn't know that. I expect you already know, however, that it comes from the sun. But the sun in the UK just isn't strong enough to provide enough vitamin D all year round. So you might want to consider taking, say, a 10 microgram daily supplement between September and April. But do speak to your GP, because it can build up to dangerous levels in the body if taken in high doses. As for calcium, it's pretty important to consume enough each day to protect your bone strength and hardness, about 700 milligrams of calcium a day. But if you're taking osteoporosis medication, you might benefit from increasing that to around 1,000 milligrams per day. However, as before taking a calcium supplement, you should speak to your GP, because it won't be right for everyone, and taking high doses can be harmful. Now, these are good natural sources of calcium. Dark green leafy vegetables, low-fat dairy products, sardines with the bones, soya products like tofu or soya milk, calcium-fortified cereals, and indeed orange juice. A second thing that you can have a say about is leading a sedentary lifestyle. You need to be more active. If you find this difficult, then take a look at my videos about dealing with a lack of stamina and seated yoga, and I'll put links in the description for you. So how does an active lifestyle help? Well, our bones are living tissues that get stronger when we use them, and muscle strengthening exercises, those that make them work harder, such as dumbbells, can be effective. The muscles pull on the bones, which respond by renewing themselves and improving their strength. Also, weight-bearing exercises with impact, which includes anything from walking and star jumps to yoga and Tai Chi, and they're also very good for the bones. So let me tell you about a little study into this. A number of osteoporosis sufferers were split into two groups. One group was told to jump up and down 10 times every day. The other group was told just to carry on as normal. After the test period, they found that the group that jumped up and down had significantly less reduction in bone density and strength than the group that had been more sedentary. Then they reversed the groups, and those that had been sedentary began jumping up and down, and the others carried on their lives as normal. And again, after the test period, those that hadn't been jumping had significantly more bone density loss. Just goes to show. The next thing you'll need to do is to maintain a healthy weight, something I'm not doing. Being overweight or underweight can increase your risk of developing osteoporosis, and being underweight in particular weakens the bones in both men and women. So it's important to try and keep your weight within a healthy range, certainly within a range that's healthy for you. The next risk is smoking. Now, I'm not lecturing, but not only can it slow down the cells that build bone in your body, but for women, it can also increase the chances of an early menopause. And postmenopausal women, as I said at the start, have an increased risk of osteoporosis and breaking a bone. Apart from protecting your bones, stopping smoking is probably one of the best lifestyle changes you can make for your overall health. And the final risk you can control is alcohol. Regularly drinking more than 14 units a week affects the cells that build up and break down bone. Also, excessive alcohol, as you can imagine, can impair your balance, and that makes falls and breaks more likely. But you don't have to give up alcohol completely. Just try to have several alcohol-free days each week. So the next question is, can you treat osteoporosis? Well, absolutely. Although while there's no cure, treatment is available that can help to protect and strengthen your bones. If you're diagnosed with osteoporosis after a fracture, the first step obviously is to treat the fracture itself, but then you can begin to look at how to reduce the risk of further fractures, such as all those things we've just been talking about. There are also some specific meds used to treat the condition, and they can help prevent the loss of bone mass and make your bones stronger. And for some women, hormone replacement therapy might be an option, as estrogen can help stop bone density loss. However, it has been linked to other health conditions such as blood clots, heart disease and cancer. So do your research, and please do discuss this fully with your specialist if it's offered to you as a treatment. So there you go. I hope you found this useful. My thanks to Restless, and if you like our varied content, and it is quite varied, isn't it? Please like, subscribe and smash that notification bell, and don't forget to comment. We'd like to hear your comments. And as for that varied content, in an upcoming episode of Grey Matters, I'll be comparing people's perceptions of senior citizens' day centres with the reality, and I'll be visiting one in Suffolk that coincidentally is called Grey's Matter. Well, I couldn't resist that one really, could I? That's it for now. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time on Grey Matters. Bye for now.